on. I just saw the dog is in the side yard. Raven! Raven! Get your ass back in there. I can't take you with me. It's raining. Shit. Raven! Raven! I don't even know how she got out. I don't even know. Oh. We're chasing after the dog because the dog is outside and it's not meant to be. Oh. She's at the front door. Come on. Well, honey, I don't know if that's you who just showed up to see my crazy hair, but the dog was in the garden. God, how you doing? Right, yeah, that one is see, and the door is open. She could have come in at any time. What up, Philological? How you doing? Oh, you guys, I just went through some stuff to be here with y'all right now. It was fun. We went and got pizza and took it to school and had lunch with kiddo. And then I took Hubs to work because he's changed his schedule. So he's actually normally home today, but full blown storm there today. I guess they're probably blowing our direction, huh? You're right. No, oh, wow. Can you guys see that tree leaning? That one there. Look at the angle on that. Anyway, my head hurts. I've been sitting for like 4 hours solid, minus the brief break for the premiere, but otherwise good. How's y'all? Like I say, it's been a hectic morning. I took him to work at noon, and then I'm supposed to be here at 12:30. And yeah, so that was just a rush, and I swear to God, I got stuck behind 6 trucks on my way back here. And one of them, if you count this as a truck, was actually the bus for the old folks home, which was not exactly a speedy vehicle. It won't come your way. Our storms go up to Alberta or over to Montana. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting how much further south we are. I guess in my head I'm still in Cleveland. I don't know. Oh, I got to go in here for a minute. Did everybody enjoy the video? It was sort of short this week because, like I said in it, I'm actually cooking something, I guess, for next week because I started digging into it and I'm like, you know what? There's a lot more here. Right. You guys are north, at least compared to Tennessee. Yeah. What was I saying? Oh my gosh. Yeah, anyway, so the video, right, was a bit short because I just happened to, it was that one thing that guy said where he's looking at that girl reciting the masculine narrative, which is what I've just started calling it. And he catches the part where it's like, oh yeah, and by the way, men are beasts, men are brutes, men are, and he's like, wait, was that a troll? It's like, no, that's just you caught it in action. You saw it. You actually like, I guess he didn't think she was cute enough to be bamboozled by what she was saying. I don't know. So he actually heard it. The part where, yeah, I'll wait on you hand and foot because you need me to, because you're a brute. Because men are so easy to please. All they need is a sandwich. It's like, what? Wait a minute. It's almost like it's bad for everyone, right? I'm looking for my little box. That's what I'm looking for. I don't know. We might sit in here for a little bit. What is behind me? Is it a mess? Oh, no, it's a desk. I guess that's okay. Oh, because there's my filming chair. We have a mess. We have such a mess. Maybe they think women are worse, but still. Yeah, she had a lot of deeply internalized male patriarchal cultural programming. Right. A lot of the manosphere anti-feminist types sound like they don't really think very much of men either. Right. No, that's what I'm saying, is that the patriarchal mindset doesn't think much of anybody. It strokes the male ego, yeah. But it's very patronizing to them, you know. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't what? What do you mean? You think it would be better if I turn the light on, or will you just see how exactly how insane my hair looks today? Let's see if I can find a brush, huh? That'd be nice. There we go. Oh. And my coffee. I found my coffee too. I was gonna want that. You like my big mirror? It's fun, right? It doesn't respect anyone. That's right. Right. It disrespects everyone. Yeah. Oh, that's a lot better. Trying to look at the screen and do it, and I can't because it's like it's backwards. Well, it's not. It's mirror image, which is still strange. I guess I expect the camera. Oh, thanks. It has hair dye all over it. That's why it's black. So someone just came in the front door, which is a problem because there's not supposed to be anyone here but me and my mother-in-law who is asleep. So now we get to go find out what that is. Okay, let's go. What the what? Oh, she went out and got in her car. She's not asleep. She was asleep a few minutes ago. Okay, whatever. Fine. As long as somebody's not home early from school randomly or something. Door's unlocked, so she'll be back. Okay. Who knows? She's a grown woman. I don't have to keep track of her. Had to switch browsers. Oh, right on. Back again. I really do appreciate you showing up for my stuff. It's so early in the morning for you. I am flattered by that. I'm very flattered by that. So yeah, here's to not keeping track of what other older women are doing because it's their business, right? Oh. Right, yeah. Philological, what you been studying so hard, honey? In the British Library. I guess they close in like 20 minutes, huh? That's crazy to think. It's evening there right now. As a non-citizen, would they even let me in? Oh my God. That's a crazy thought. I mean, I'm sure they would. Do I have to pay a fee or something? An old Saxon translation of the Bible. Ooh. Why? What you looking for? Yes, they're 8 hours ahead of us here. Right, yeah. Basically, last night I found something that suggests my supervisor was right in a disagreement we had. Ooh, hey Mary, how you doing? So you got to check. Okay. That is. You guys had a disagreement about an old Saxon and a translation of the Bible? Was it that specifically, or was it something related to that you're just gonna that you're looking up facts for? I don't know. Is it? Tell me that dog's out of the yard again. The one of them is whining and prancing around. No, there she is. Okay, good. No, it was a disagreement about time, but a verse in the Old Saxon Bible disputes my argument. Oh. I'm not seeing the connection there. How are things with you, Mary? How far do I need to go? Can I just turn that way? Yeah. Yeah, so this week's video is a little short because it was really just that one thing, that guy catching it and being like, "Hey, wait a minute." Yeah, made me laugh so hard. And for next week, I was looking into, apparently the younger voting bloc is kind of split, which, I feel like the young men radicalized conservative first. Is that my imagination? Is that just from where I'm sitting? I feel like that happened several years ago. That there was this, sort of cultural trend with, the alpha male shit and all that stuff. I feel like men went conservative first. And if young women are skewing more liberal, it might be at least partially in reaction to that because, and I was worried that more of them would fall for it basically because, well, I mean, look at the past, okay? There's been some strong success with this in the past, right? With, reining us in, as it were. So, yeah, the idea that young women are going to take one hot look at all those young men riled up to try and be their alpha and go, yeah, maybe not, is kind of amazing and fantastic. And, I'm personally kind of pleased with that. It doesn't affect me really, except, possibly in the number of grandchildren I might one day get to have my presence for. So that's my take on it is, yay, young women are getting smart, but it corresponds a lot with education. It's only uneducated young men who are being radicalized. Is that true? I would love to believe that. I haven't noticed that pattern myself. I mean, I almost want to say uneducated men are at work. They don't necessarily have the time to just sit and let the YouTube play background while they're, taking calls, if you'll forgive me, honey. Okay? And I mean, if you want to talk about in the United States, uneducated, what do you mean by that? Our educational system is pretty dismal. So uneducated how? Uneducated culturally, like that's most of us. I don't. What up, Susie? How you doing? Both uneducated and educated men can become radicalized. Right. I don't think. I mean, we want to believe. And in a lot of ways, education is an insulation from that sort of thing, but it's not a panacea. So. Susie, you're in Australia, right? What time is it there? Excuse me. Hanging in there, thanks. Hope everyone is well. Yeah, we're doing all right. It was kind of an adventure getting to see y'all today. I got stuck behind, every slow truck in town on my way back. Walked in the door with just enough time to go to the bathroom before I had to sit down and talk to you guys. So it's been a morning. I'm in the Bahamas, same time zone as you. That's right. I have two people who live in wonderfully warm climates that I fantasize about, and you're the other one. Okay. I'm sorry. It's so hard to keep these things straight. God forbid this ever actually does blow up and we have a lot of people in the chats. I'm going to be so lost, y'all. I wish we could use names and faces, That's how I get to know people. Well. So here's a question. Are you from the Bahamas or did you just decide to move down there at some point? Never been to the Bahamas. Trinidad, yes, but never the Bahamas. It's been cold here for us. 55 to 60 for the last few weeks. Wow. Jacket weather, right? Sock weather. Yeah. And is that just because it's winter? Is that unusual? Does that happen every February, maybe? Not real familiar with the I mean, obviously, the climate is tropical, but, like, there's gotta be some variation, right? It means the jet stream is dipping way down south over there. Right. It was. I know we had a polar vortex come through, gosh, a month ago now. Look what I found. This is juniper. It's not so bad here today. It's like 60 degrees here today, but it's raining. I'm from here, born and raised, but also lived in the UK and the US. Bahamian mom, British dad, actually German dad, but he fled Germany in World War II. Wow. My familiar? This isn't even my cat. This is my daughter's cat. Mine is over here. Sleeping in my clean laundry. Well, of course. Because where else would she be? Yes, a lot of Brits come from the Bahamas. Well, there's still the British Virgin Islands, is there not? Is that still a thing? They still own land over there, don't they? Own land over there. No, Juniper likes my lap because he knows the dog won't get him here. The big black dog. There she is. There's the one that was outside earlier in the yard where she wasn't supposed to be. That's right. Run away. You're never going to believe you're not my familiar now. He does this to everybody. Our room is not ready for its close up. No, I know it's not. But like you can see the floor. Actually, my mom's side of the family were loyal to King George during the American Revolution and fled from America to the Bahamas. Wow. That's not one you hear every day. Wow is right. That's cool that you know that. What was my family doing in the 18th century? Fuck if I know. And I could know though, because my cousin's uncle or something like that is a genealogist too. They just recently traced my mom's side of the family back to what do you call them? The Tudors. The Tudor period. Dylan the cook is from the British Bahamas too. Dylan the cook. Is that somebody at work? Or is that somebody you watch? The big chase scene in the James Bond movie Casino Royale was filmed in the Bahamas. The new one or the old one? They remade that one, didn't they? That is the story of many white Bahamian families' origins. Lots came out of North Carolina, and we also know they were Scottish back to William Wallace's time. Nice! That is a long time ago. Right on. I know my dad's family is Scottish because his mom's parents both came over from the old country. So it was where he chased that guy who was parkouring all over the place. Yeah, I didn't see that one. But that's not noteworthy. I have not seen most James Bond films. No, Dylan is some YouTuber, skinny cute gay man. Okay, honey. That does make sense. Why, if it's a common story down there, it's not one I hear every day. Being from up north and all. I thought you meant Mulvaney either for a second. Oh no. No, he's talking about a cooking video or a cooking content creator. Yeah. I like video or better. It's so much easier to say. Man, if it gets much darker in here, I'm gonna have to turn the light on. And I don't want to do that. Because then I'll have a light in my eye. So, yeah, no. My mom's family was chased back all the way to the Tudor period by a genealogist uncle twice removed or something. Dylan Mulvaney needs to be committed to a mental hospital. Yeah. You know, we can't do that. Like, there's no legal way to do that. As far as that I know of. They've done away with all of that. So, hard cheese, I guess. We just have to. There's our daily backfire. I don't know if you heard that, babe. It's 12:51. There he went. Not deranged, just a bit selfish. I don't know. He just strikes me as one of those insincere, fame-hungry Hollywood types. Oh, definitely. The thing about that is the line between that and deranged is sometimes thin, isn't it? My ancestors on my dad's side came here to the U.S. during the 1630s. Why? Like, I'm sorry. Like, there were 20 people coming over here then. Like, which one was he? You know, like, wow. I mean, I'm tempted to ask which boat he was on. Like, wow. I actually feel really sorry for him now. I wonder if he's going down alive himself. Wait, why? What happened? Yes, that's right. They arrived in Virginia. Wow. I don't know why he would. I imagine he's pretty rich from his offensive little stunt. Wait, what? What happened? Like, we're not still talking about the Bud Light thing. No one would off themselves over that. That's dumb, right? Like, what stunts he pulled now? Jeez, talking about somebody can't just leave well enough alone. My gosh. He seems unhinged in latest vids I've seen, that's all. See, that's what I'm saying. Oh, by offensive little stunt, I mean the Days of Girlhood videos. Oh, okay. That was a fairly large stunt, I think, to be fair. It's just because it took him so long to do. When the news first came out, I genuinely thought Mulvaney was a TERF doing a caricature of trans women. Right. And then there was that girl who was mocking him right immediately after that. I genuinely got the two of them confused for a minute. Like, only a minute. And it was just, but at first it was hard to tell. Bud Light didn't care a lick about trans people or LGBT folk, never did. Their support of Dylan was all a great big sham. Right. I mean, right, yeah. I don't know whatever happened to her. She was brilliant, though. Oh, YouTube ad interruptions. I'm sorry, you guys. I do apologize about that. I need to monetize the channel, though, because, well, obviously I'm going to funnel everything I get back into this venture, okay? You just got the third ad. Oh, dear. You can't parody the Days of Girlhood. Right. No, that's why it was so confusing at first, was because the Days of Girlhood on their own seem like a parody. They do. So that just... So, thank you guys for sitting through the ads. Think of it as a donation, okay? Because we've crossed that hump. And now we have to get, used to this and hit a new stride, right? Thank you so much for sitting through the ads. Thanks for sticking with me. Like, really, this is such a passion project for me. One benefit of living in the Bahamas is no ads. None! Haha! Nice. Nice. How's that? How does that work? How does that work? No, and I put them on the moderate setting, because I'm not trying to drive y'all crazy. But unfortunately, I do need to make the revenue. Every little bit helps. So if you sit through an ad, just think of it as a donation. And I really appreciate it. I super, super do. Like, really. Dylan was flashing himself. This is what serial rapists do before they start attacking women for real. Wait, he was? Where? And that's what I'm saying, is that the same kind of like ego problems that drive somebody to be that attention-getting Hollywood, shallow weirdo can very easily flip into, that entitlement, that scary entitlement where they just are so incredibly needy they begin demanding things. The government must pick up the tab in the Bahamas. Isn't the Bahamas a giant tax shelter for the super rich? I don't think that's why Susie lives there. She said she was born there. That's not the Dylan you're referencing. No, but she brought up somebody called Dylan in a room full of turfs, so that's where now we're talking about Mulvaney, apparently. Wait, for real, Blake? I'll make Dylan more likely to hurt himself than others. Although he has a weird thing about little girls, so who knows? His behavior is similar to what you find in serial rapists in their early stages. Ooh. Isn't he like 30? I mean, not that that's too late to become a serial rapist. I'm just, usually that's the kind of thing that shows up earlier in life, I think. Like, you don't just wake up one day and start raping people. It's a process, Wouldn't it be funny if he'd been going through that process in public? That would be sure be a fascinating case study. You think he's about 25 or so? I can probably look that up. Right? Yo, I just found out the library closes later than I expected, so I can catch the whole stream. Sweet! It does have that side of it, the super rich foreigners, but also we are considered a third world country because 2/3 of our population is below the poverty line still. Well, golly, that just doesn't seem to add up, does it? Where's all that tax money going? That's disgusting. Where is my phone? I don't know. Probably in my bag in the kitchen. Let's just do it on here, right? Let's just do it on here. $27. Dylan Mulvaney is 27. So there you go. Not to the poor. Right. That's what I'm saying, right? Not to social services or some kind of an infrastructure or a safety net or or to job creation, that most American of bullshit. Oh my God. Government isn't picking up the tab. We are often a testing ground for tech, such as WhatsApp, recently using all our data to test a spy program. We got no say, of course. Oh. Why should you expect one, right? I mean, oh, he's 1 year younger than me. Yeah. Yeah, birthday December 29th, 1996. Well, at least one of these pictures is straight up not of Dylan Mulvaney. Okay. Oh no, sorry, I forgot it's been fewer than 1,000 days of girlhood, so she's apparently more than 2 decades. Yeah. Yeah, right. Let me tell you, girlhood only lasts so long. And then after a while, that was the cap falling off the table. Yeah, no, but so eventually, your girlhood ends on its own. And you have to deal with this thing called womanhood, which is all another bargain. Yes, that makes sense. They can get away with testing programs like this with few consequences in the Bahamas. Right. It's fairly lawless down there, I guess. And that, I don't know. Philological. Why do you use she for Dylan? Just wondering, as you don't think he was trolling the whole time? Dylan is stuck in perpetual girlhood. That's his problem. Right, but Dylan cannot access girlhood in the first fucking place. Perpetual adolescence, perhaps. I think he might be a good contender for that. Yes. He doesn't want to grow up. They call that a Peter Pan syndrome, right? Would that offend Dylan because Peter Pan is a boy? I don't know if Mulvaney is trolling. I think he believes his own bullshit, but it's definitely one of the people jumping on the trans bandwagon because it's trendy. I just always use the pronoun someone prefers no matter what. And I do not pronoun police, but I try not to. I try to stick with the material reality of things. Even if I really don't like them, like Mulvaney or Chris Chan. Right, and that's your thing, and that's fine. We are agreeing to disagree on that. Dylan isn't accessing girlhood. He's cosplaying what he thinks girlhood is. Right, exactly. He's very fixated on trying to be something that he can never be, which is what he has in common with a lot of those other people, okay? And it's like, if you just feel so deeply in your heart that that is the expression of who you genuinely are, or, if, like in your case, philological, I guess there's some sort of a, you've done it for your own functioning, right? As opposed to the quixotic pursuit of an impossible dream. That's called a delusion, right? Like, and it should be fairly easy to test for this if you ask somebody, so do you actually think you're a woman inside or not? Like, and if the answer is yes, well, that would be an issue, right? Like, if Mulvaney really wanted to do the Days of Girlhood thing, he should have started day one by crying and shitting himself for several hours. Why? Oh, is it like a baby? Like it's a baby. Right, yeah, totally. I think trans people who accept that we can't change sex end up way more content. Right, well, because your goal is achievable. Right? You're never going to be content if you were actually hoping to get to someplace that you cannot reach. He actually did start day one by crying. That's right, and then he said something about it, right? He got meta about it, something like, haha, well, I cried, so now I'm a real girl, or some stupid shit like that. And that to me would be the difference between someone who is, quite frankly, reasonable or potentially reasonable, or someone who isn't. If you're delusional, there is no reasoning with that. Those are the people who need to be called she, because if you don't, it threatens their delusional state. Which, like, again, I've been doing research for my book that's taken me to some weird corners. And, like, psychosis is something that you can slip in and out of. And maybe they don't want to. Maybe they want to stay in this liminal mental state where they actually can believe this. Like, once you realize that's what they're talking about, that is a psychotic state, okay? And once you realize that that's what they're talking about, Gender euphoria is in most cases a psychotic state, okay, that has been triggered by something. That they actually feel themselves coming into this persona, this identity that's not real. That cannot be real. Laughing my ass off, the acting background coming through. Oh. Yep. Theater background. I've actually not done a whole lot of acting. I was backstage a lot. Being a chubby redhead, I just didn't fit the mold for a lot of the role. I didn't have the look, so I can sing though. I'm not a great dancer, but I can sing, My hot take is that a lot of the trans stuff is like a secular religion nowadays. Yes. Glow up transition narratives, soteriology, gender euphoria, religious ecstasy, gender identity. That's right. You can't literally just go by one for one and line them up, which seems strange for a political ideology, right? That's unusual for those. They're not usually so, analogous to a religion. People have tried to make that argument. People have tried to argue that atheism is a religion. And I don't know, maybe for some people it does function that way because it's almost like thinking that way is hardwired into your brain or something. I wish we could all, be honest with ourselves about that and look at that, straightforwardly, but maybe next year. And the men even wear dresses, right? They need an official funny hat. That's the only thing that's really missing is the official funny hats. By the way, the patriarchy video is very good. Oh, thank you. I wish the people you were addressing could see your takes. Right? Same. But right. Rim shot. Remind me the exact definition of soteriology. I could look it up, but this is so much more fun. This generation seems to be lost. Some of them are. I can't judge too harshly. Being an elder millennial and all, easily 50% of the people my age are just shitheads. I didn't want to believe that when we were all in middle school, I kind of figured that we would all get our act together at some point. It appears the opioid epidemic really cut some of us off at the knees when we were about 20 and never, they just never, I don't know. I thank my lucky stars every day that I've never really been into pills. I don't know. It always kind of gave me the willies. So I just never started on the pills. So I never had to stop the pills. You know what I mean? I know. There is an official funny hat. It's the cat ears thing. The pussy hats, they can't have that. No. Soteriology is basically just the idea of salvation. Gotcha. Okay. Instead of just their dysphoria being a bit more manageable and them maybe having a happier relationship with their body. Right. It's a salvation narrative. Ooh, that almost sounds like a fun video idea, right? That kind of fits in with my my vibe I've got going. Pills. You ass. Oh, ever since you guys ever watch I'm gonna break one of my rules here and talk about a television show. One of the 10 shows I've watched in the last decade. Fucking Parks and Rec, you guys. The kid, he's gone on to do a lot of stuff. Never heard of soteriology until now. Yeah, it's like the study of that kind of thing. Anyway, that just made me laugh so hard. This kid, plays a totally off the chain young man who just does whatever he wants, basically. And at one point, the lead character asks him, "Why are you like this?" And he says, "Pills, baby!" And we just laughed so hard. So now every time somebody does something crazy, we'll just kind of look at each other and go, "Pills, baby!" In jokes are fun, you know. I definitely think so. A lot of folks seem to just go through the life trying to numb themselves with drugs, promiscuous sex, video games, etc. What does he say? It's generate right. Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is that if they are, they don't have to stay that way. Well, you remember Jean Ralphio then. If you loved Parks and Rec, you remember John Ralphio. Leslie Knope is yeah. They really ended up making her a very endearing character. You guys, and maybe my British friends will have heard of this though. We've been on The Good Life. That's what we've been on lately. Oh, that is some of the most wholesome old school shit. Like, the term comes from the Greek word soteria, which means salvation. Soteria derives from the root word. The term comes from the Greek word soteria. Right. Okay. I think we had that twice. So it's the study of salvation, then. It would be. Cool. And, it makes sense that each faith would have its own flavor of that. They do, right? And it might almost be, even if you take out the deity stuff and just look at the philosophy, the study of doctrine and salvation. Right. Always learn something new here. Right? I love it. That's what I'm going for. That's why we have to agree to disagree, right? Because nobody's ever going to learn anything if we don't come in with the understanding that there will be disagreements. There will. That's the one thing you can guarantee, right? In a group of people, is we're going to disagree about something. We have to agree to disagree sometimes. And we're just not going to convince one another all the time. That's just never not, Like, ideological purity is not possible. Ever. Anyway. That might be a key difference. If you take out all the metaphysics and all the deity and whatever between religion and philosophy is not trying to save you from anything necessarily. It's more an explanatory framework as opposed to religion. Yeah, it has like a motion to it, like you're being ushered towards something. That monitor behind you looks like it could play a Blu-ray movie. Probably. That's his work computer. I can agree to disagree. I am very practiced at it, right? 100% Rad Mom. Like, listening to Rad Femmes has changed my perspective on so many issues that I would never have considered otherwise. Ditto. Like, right back at you. And I don't... Are we actually trying to fix things? We are. I am. So that's, like, and people want to join that effort in good faith. Why on earth would I say no? Would anyone say no to that? And that's... And really, I think agreeing to disagree has just got to be like your entrance fee, if you will. Because otherwise, people are just going to make trouble. Because, like, those endless arguments that just go on, they're endless. Endless arguments are just a sink. All right? Nobody needs that. So I guess that would be, then that's not why I'm not making it about tolerance. You know what I mean? I'm not invoking tolerance because eventually you get to the hypocrisy of that. Whereas that you're going to be intolerant of intolerance or whatever it ends up being. It's like how many angels can sit on the head of a pin? Now, that's exactly the kind of argument that I'm gentle persuasion rather than endless arguments. Right. Well, and the thing is, I don't necessarily feel the need to work to persuade a lot of people about a lot of the things I talk about because the truth will out. The world is what it is. I'm just calling it like I see it. I'm not trying to necessarily convince many people. Did I lose power? No, I did not. No, the light in the kitchen is still on. I just don't have anything on in here. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Boop. See, we have power. My experience moving through trans communities is that they mostly can't agree to disagree. So communication just breaks down and no solutions get reached. Exactly. But the few people who were able to agree to disagree on some things were the only ones who actually changed my opinion on some things. Right. Because you can't even get past, like, sometimes the initial conversation about stuff. Everything, we're all good. So yeah, I do. I think that would be my price of entry, is you have to be willing to agree to disagree. So do we for now. I hope the high winds don't cause us to lose power. Do you guys, you guys have your, any buried power lines up there? That's been like a point of interest of mine lately. Like, why do we do this? Why do we do this? Why do we leave them just swinging out in the wind? That seems odd for something so vital. Nah. Because there's a town near here that, probably going on 20 years ago now, there was a big whoop-de-doo. I lose power just about every day here. All right, the downside of island living. That was going to be my next question, is do you guys have hanging power lines down in the Bahamas? Because, like, hello, hurricanes and stuff, that seems bonkers to me. But yeah, no, there's a town near here that there was a big kerfuffle. Going on 20 years ago, I guess. Now it would have been, where their mayor decided that he was going to spend the money and bury their power lines. And there were quite a few people who were pretty unhappy about that, because it was not cheap. And then about 5 years ago, half that town burnt to the ground. And they were really happy that they had buried all their power lines. We have power lines held together by chewing gum. Do you have a generator? Yeah, I had some gay friends that live in our neighborhood. It was before I really understood what trans was. I was 100% behind some middle-aged men transitioning into women. But when I was against transitioning into a 12-year-old boy into a girl, they called me a transphobe and never talked to me again. Yeah. Yes, they lose power often up in San Juan Islands too. It's part of island living up here, back in 1990, San Juan Island was out for 10 days. Yes, I have a little generator for emergencies and hurricanes. Yep. Get on you. Good looking. Mm-hmm. It was one of those little things. I probably wouldn't have thought of as somebody who doesn't live there. It's pouring out there right now here. A lot of people up there have generators for this reason. Yeah. Right. I'm sure it's common because it'd have to be. Because apparently the infrastructure is not actually like providing for your needs. Okay, and that's what the government is for, right? Like, I know that the idea of a government is like unpopular lately, which is ridiculous because what are we going to do? All living in the anarchy state? But if they have a function, surely maintaining infrastructure for the populace is one of those functions. In my experience, most of the middle-aged males transitioning are just the most obnoxious, entitled pricks. In my observation, this is often true as well. No rain here, just a lot of wind. Our rain chance is 100% for us today. Wow. Infrastructure? What's that? Right? Usually they've experienced 30 years or more of male privilege and done well in business, so they think they can just do whatever they want. Mm-hmm. Which is why they feel like they can just decide to be a woman one day, right? Yeah. I feel like it takes a certain amount of entitlement just to get to that point. Uh, done well in business or the military, right? There's a lot of military guys who apparently were secretly women inside all along. It makes you wonder. Makes you wonder about what a woman is, doesn't it? It's called autogynephilia. Yeah. Yeah. So, would you say that usually, yes, Bruce Jenner is very much like this. He's had decades of extreme male privilege that even few men get. Yes, thank you, right? Not everybody's a fucking decathlon winner thing. I don't know. Decathlete? What do they call that? I actually do think most of the middle-aged transitioners are HEP, especially the ones who were erotic. Oh. How is that not 2 plus 2 is 4? The erotic element is what makes it the philia, right? It seems like once they reach a certain age and have all the benefits of male privilege already, they might as well just live out their fetish full time. Right, yeah, exactly. And or possibly some sort of late middle-aged brain rot. Right? Whatever personality disorder they've been battling their whole lives finally just gets the better of them. Or perhaps early onset dementia. Or organic dementia. Maybe they're an alcoholic, we don't know. You can tell by how they dress. They never dress like middle-aged women. The number is 90 to 95% are AGPs. Yes, Bruce Jenner is among the 1%, even among men when it comes to how much male privilege. Right, yeah. He's literally on a Wheaties box. For the middle-aged ones, I'm almost inclined to agree with you on that figure. Okay, that was going to be my question. Is the older ones are almost always AGP, and then the younger ones are usually the ones who are more sort of organically feminine, if you'll forgive the term. I'm not sure what else to call that. Porn is causing this uptick, is what we used to call transvestites, now AGPs. Okay. I hadn't equated those two, but I can't think of a reason not to. Yes, their cognitive abilities fail where they can't keep their AGP tendencies in check anymore. Right, exactly. And the reason why that is, who knows? And even if they feel like it's a decision that they made, it's not a rational decision. Under any circumstances, that's never a rational decision. It looks like, and if it was anything else, if he was selling his condo and buying a car and leaving his wife for a younger, and doing regular middle-aged dude shit, it would just look like a midlife crisis. So, and I've noticed that with Bruce Jenner. Actually, he was the first one I noticed it with, because he was the first one who I remember came out and did a bunch of interviews. I mean, aside from the fact that he still sounds like Bruce fucking Jenner, and that's weird. Porn is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. Not most male politicians have sexual fetishes and perversions, which is why they don't care to do any. Right. Everyone's complicit. I pretty much put that together. I've interviewed a couple of them and know that they regard transition itself as this degrading thing. Like, hell no, I ain't being friendly with you if you think femininity is shameful. And they're probably honest with you in a way that they wouldn't be with many people because, well, they assume that you share their perspective, right? That number is across the board in ages because of porn in males and children as targeting the gay kids and some homosexual, transsexuals, mid-20s, etc. This is data, not my opinion. Oh. I remember Caitlyn Jenner did this interview once where he said he was wearing women's lingerie under his sports gear when he ran. Ew. I mean, depending on the lingerie, that sounds uncomfortable as all shit. Like, even women don't do that. Don't know. Women athletes don't do that. You don't have lacy thongs on underneath your... No. That's bonkers. No, but he is the first one who I noticed, and I have way too much experience with it, like dementia. Both of my grandmothers worked in a dementia ward in a nursing home for a little while. I've seen enough of it. There was something about the way he put his sentences together that I'm just like, that guy wasn't all there to begin with. That guy's just not, that's an old man who's not quite all there anymore. And like, I literally just wear men's underwear because it's comfy and nobody's seeing it anyway, unless something goes horribly wrong. Like, right? Yeah. A large percentage of men in power positions are like this too. Look at Jeffrey Epstein, all the powerful. Right. Right. No, women don't wear lingerie under sports bras. Right, yeah. At least no women I know. Susie, are you telling me that Caitlyn Jenner maybe doesn't have the most realistic notion of how women live? Tell me it ain't so. I don't know why he wouldn't. It's not like he didn't live with half a dozen of them or something. Hello? Hello? Wait, was Jeffrey Epstein a crossdresser? No, but he enabled a lot of perversions, didn't he? That, it's almost as if, like, with the porn, you could, like, I mean, like, it's an easy sell for him. Hey, you want to act that movie out? You want to make your own? I mean, really, like, it's so easy. Jenner also admitted to raiding his teenage daughter's underwear drawer. I've heard that, but not from his own mouth. So, I mean, for a guy like that, his daughter is Kim Kardashian. I mean, Jesus, the temptation must be overwhelming. But I do not know that for a fact. I have not heard him say that myself. But that has been making the rounds for quite some time. And if it isn't true, well, he's got a serious problem there, because a lot of people believe that. It's a story many of these AGPs have, right? Their moms or sisters' underwear, stockings, etc. You just have to pay attention to what they say. I don't, admittedly, I don't pay very close attention to anything that Bruce Jenner says. I freely admit that. But it is a very common tale, that a lot of them first discovered their, whatever you call it, Gabby Tuff, David Hayton, both are on record saying, right, yeah. I'd heard of some wearing their wives' underwear, but not family members. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and this is the kind of thing that I used to see on Reddit, back when I was on Reddit, fairly commonly was, teenage guys stealing their sister's clothing. That's apparently fairly common. And that's the thing about it. And somebody was saying this. I think it was that woman Eve that Buck Angel was interviewing a few weeks back. But like, about how, like, now there are young AGPs out there who are not fighting their urges off until they're in their 40s and 50s, because they don't feel like they need to. Magdalene Burns did an excellent take on Bruce Jenner's hypocrisy back in 2016. Really? Okay. I'm sure I saw it. I used to watch every single video of hers. And then I haven't rewatched any of them since she passed, because, oh God, how aggravating and just so tragic. It's good to know what their motivations are to keep yourself safe and informed. Yes, true. I don't pay attention to Jenner either. He seems especially dense. Anyone see him try to run for governor of California despite having zero idea about politics? No. Yeah, no, in general, it is definitely good to be aware of predators' motivations, for sure. Caitlyn Jenner in particular, though, I definitely personally do not feel threatened by that person at all. Mainly because I'm pretty sure they're on the other side of the country. They live in California. He lives in California. So, like, I personally am so not worried about Bruce Jenner at all. But, yeah, in general, And it's impossible to not get embroiled into it, okay? Because if he wants to put on his get up and go out into the world and interface with it in a feminine way, and you're just out there being alive in the vicinity, congratulations, you're a part of his pantomime. Good job. How do you avoid that? Oh, geez, that was an absolute shit show. Jenner seriously thinking that he was qualified to run. I mean, I want to make Los Angeles a sanctuary city for small business. Wait a minute. That's where the movie studios all are, right? Wait a minute. It's like saying you want to make Manhattan a sanctuary for ranch houses. What? Like, what? That's completely insane. California is down the coast from us, so we pay closer attention to what's going on down there because yeah. Well, that makes sense. Jenner is satisfied with his fetish for now. I just hope he doesn't escalate or can control it behind closed doors. It is uncomfortable to say, but it's true nonetheless. Yeah, well, he's not married anymore, is he? Has he got anyone left behind closed doors even to victimize that we know of? Not that I follow that, but like, he's not married anymore, right? Like, I don't know who he must have, probably has a sycophant or two. Because they always do, don't they? They always have a handmaiden or two, people like that. They always have at least one or two hangers-on who are just happy to sort of swim in their wake. It's weird. Jenna recently said that the U.S. needs an alpha male president like Donald Trump. If he hadn't transitioned, he could have been it himself, right? His ass could be running for fucking president. Well, now I will say that Jenner is a conservative, which is so fucking funny and weird, and I love that people were confused by that. It's like, yeah, he thinks he's a woman. He's a lunatic. He's still a Republican, though. And it's like what we were saying about how it's like a faith, right? You can have any kind of faith you want and be a Republican or a Democrat. I've met Christian Democrats and I've met Christian Republicans, obviously. That one kind of tends to skew one or the other usually, but, well, one tends to skew conservative. But, my point is that being a religion does not, the two are not the same thing, right? You can hold your faith in one way and your politics doesn't necessarily follow from that. So, it's like that. Being trans doesn't make you a liberal. Which is weird, because you'd think it would. If only because you're living an alternative lifestyle. Like, that is an alternative lifestyle. It's the very definition of an alternative lifestyle. Buffalo Bill was cool, too, with just the dresses at first. Just say. What? Oh, he escalated, yeah. Buffalo Bill is a fictional character, y'all. We cannot use him as an example, no matter how real he may feel to us in our nightmares. Buffalo Bill is a fictional character. Even Blair White has said, I'm too trans for the right. Yeah, well, he is. The idea that conservatives would, like that ought to raise questions in people's minds. The idea that conservatives would in any way be on board with that. It's supposed to be the ultimate liberal, freedom-making thing, right? It's the last great liberal topic, problem, rights issue of our time, right? So why in the hell would any conservative ever be on board with that? Well, the wind's really going out here. The trees are really swaying. Well, it sounds beautiful, but yeah, I hope it doesn't go too bad for you either. Here's to making sure they don't outlaw it altogether as the reasonable trans person. Right, no, I'm not saying that. Here in the US, LGBT people are much more liberal than they are over the UK. LGBT people in the UK find this very puzzling about their US counterparts. Buffalo Bill was based on he was based on a couple of real serial killers. Okay. And it was like Ed Gein and crap, I don't remember. He's an amalgamation of a couple of real serial killers and like the writer's imagination. Okay. Laughing my ass off reminds me of when I was reading The Transsexual Empire and Raymond started talking about a detransitioner from some novel as an example of how transition ruins people. Right. Ugh. I hate it when people use fictional books to try to back up their argument. Yeah. You might as well make up a story yourself. Like, that's not evidence. Right, an amalgamation of Ed Gein and another one, right? And I can't remember who the other one was. Yeah, I think it's because our conservative party over here is genuinely secular and doesn't push homophobia. Oh. A secular conservative party? The hell is that? So gays feel like they can identify with the conservative party without it being hypocrite. What a fucking concept. What? Ed Gein and another serial killer are both real, not fictional. Right, yeah. No, yeah, I'm saying, but like, many more people are familiar with Buffalo Bill than they are with Ed Gein. So, a la Jordan Peterson and his constant references to Dostoevsky. Yes, big plans. Thank you. Hey, how you doing? Yes, that's a good point. Why does Jordan Peterson refer to Dostoevsky as if he were a philosopher, like Kant or Nietzsche? Well, pretty much all politicians in the UK are secular. They almost never talk about faith. They don't talk about it here. It's just sort of, they don't talk about it. It's just sort of part of the narrative surrounding them. Yes, the US is way more hostile a place for LGBT people than in the UK. LGBT people really have no choice but to be liberal. Pretty good. I'm pretty good. Glad to hear you're good. Yeah, no. And as a woman, I feel the same. I've never been able to vote for a party who wanted to tell me what to do with my uterus. Okay, I've never been able to vote for a party who wanted to tell me to do, who wanted to make laws based on what Jesus said. I'm sorry, that's called a theocracy. That is unconstitutional. Ironically, what we say here in the United States is if you want a theocracy, go back to England. Politicians here have used religion as a weapon of war for many decades, especially against women. From the beginning. I swear to God, dude. Go back and look at the 1812 election or something like that? Oh my God. I want to say it's the people who were opposed to Andrew Jackson, like literally tried to actually gin up the idea that he was possessed by a demon. I mean, he was an asshole, to be fair, who killed a lot of Indians, but I don't think he was actually possessed by it. But like, okay, like Puritans, half the people, at least half the original founders of this country were Puritans. Okay, so anti-intellectualism and superstition are problems that we have for sure. Has some state pushed through a religious law declaring that fertilized embryos are legal persons now? I've been meaning to look into that. I swear I keep hearing presidents say, God bless you all and God bless America. Our leaders don't do that. Okay, yeah, no, you're right. That's weird. Yes, they have in some states. Ugh. Actually, there is a whole conservative gay movement. There is a whole conservative gay movement called Walk Away that has sprung up as a direct result of the trans stuff eating their community. Yeah. There's at least a couple of different groups like that. And I can't blame them. And it's I just rewatched this video, my Buck Angel video this morning because Brittany shared it to her. So a bunch of other people, there's going to be more comments on that one today. So I wanted to rewatch it and, refresh myself on what all is said in that. They added under God to the Pledge of Allegiance in 1954. Yeah, no, I didn't know that. Which, like, if you look at the poem, it flows so much better without it. Like, you can tell it's just crammed in there. It's terrible. It completely uproots the flow of the poem. Do you think it's Alabama with the IVF law? I don't have my phone in here. Watch it be Tennessee. No, you're right. That's Alabama. Which is a step or two below us as far as their reputation for being a conservative hellhole. I'm sorry to get quiet for a minute, but that's just so like we have Dylan Mulvaney meeting with President Biden about his days of girlhood on the one hand. And on the other hand, like literally IVF is for women who are trying to have babies. Which is what they want, right? Thank you all for sitting through the ads. I really sincerely appreciate it so much. The monetization is a little weird, but it's really going to help things around here. It's really going to help the channel so much. Thank you. Thank you for sitting through the ads. I know it's a little weird, but I'm just sitting here being a little quiet for a minute anyway, and just kind of comparing and contrasting the situation we're in. And on the flip side of the IVF thing, New York City and California are both trying to class two men as an infertile couple so they can have insurance pay for surrogacy. You're not entitled to children, okay? No one is entitled to children. What is that? Yes, that was a complete utter sham, a farce, a complete lie, a shit show. Women don't need to get pregnant anymore. Just let the IVF clinic fertilize them and Alabama will recognize them as children. But what if you lose that pregnancy then? You go to jail for murder. Okay? Like, for manslaughter anyway. Okay? Because if a fetus counts as a full-fledged human being with rights, even if you don't do anything wrong and you have a miscarriage, like you naturally sometimes do, accidentally killing someone is called manslaughter. And I refuse to be a walking incubator. Biden's interview with Dylan. Oh, yeah, right. Yes, the contradictions are absolutely staggering. Right. Surrogate how? But they don't have an egg among them to get surrogate. Right. Now that's where the woman comes in, okay? Like, which is just so monstrous. There have already been women tried for having miscarriages, which is just so monstrous. Yes, right, exactly. That's terrifying. That is terrifying, okay? And it just brings us right back to the cold, hard truth that our culture does not trust women. Our society does not trust women. Oh, you lost that baby? Well, what were you doing? Dylan is my favorite type of woman, the kind who can enjoy watching the football, yet thinks being asked to make a sandwich is an affirmation of his womanhood. Cosplaying is the new reality. Yeah, it reminds me of an old joke. Something about somebody, something about how your favorite kind of woman is a quadriplegic. I think you guys can probably guess the punchline to that one. I'm out of coffee. Oh no. We're gonna have to go to the kitchen, you guys. I'm out of coffee. I'm not even sure if there is any. I might have to make some. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. The scene in Alien vs. Predator where the woman is impregnated and giving birth to a baby alien offers a metaphor for what these pro-life GOPers want for all women. I have not seen that. Thank you for the reason to continue not seeing that. I don't need to have that driven home to me. You know what I'm saying? What if you wanted that baby? Like, when somebody was making an argument I really disagreed with about intent in the law, because intent does matter in criminal law, and we want it to, right? It's like what I was saying, there's a difference between murder one and manslaughter, right? For one thing, if you premeditatedly hunt someone down and stab them to death and then hide the body, that's different than accidentally hitting somebody with your car. It just is. They end up dead in either way, in either circumstance, but like the punishment shift at the crime, right? And those two crimes are very different. It would be their wet dream come true. You don't want to think about Republican politicians' wet dreams, Scott. Come on. Now you're just being cruel. And actually, that's the thing I've noticed also, like the amount of humor that is in like comedy television that is like dick jokes. The amount of just dick jokes. Like, what the fuck? I'm sorry. Was I not thinking about penises for 5 whole fucking minutes? John Oliver, Stephen Colbert, even Jon Stewart, all of them. I literally stopped watching John Oliver because I swear to God, he was putting like masturbation jokes. What up, Kelly? How you doing? I straight up stopped watching John Oliver like a while back because I don't want to think about teenage male masturbation. I am a 40-year-old woman. I do not need to think about that. That is just not a thought or an image that needs to be in my mind ever. And I felt like a creep. Wait, they want women to die giving birth? I think that's a little bit of hyperbole. Maybe the real zealots, but not average Republicans. Not average. No. I think, and I said this last week, that I think most people want to at least feel that they are doing something good. They don't want to feel like they are a shithead. Yeah, we are obsessed with male attention. And I just, not just attention, not just the thing itself, but what it does, and It has. It's gotten to the point where I find myself asking this question whenever, I stumble into the room and someone else is watching something. Is like, oh, I'm sorry. Was I not thinking about dick for 5 whole minutes? They're also really biased on the trans issue. Oh, well, yeah, but they all are. Okay. At this point, I am long ago done being disappointed in this or that media figure for towing the line on that. I expect them all to do it because apparently if you don't, you will get fired, right? That's the message that I've gotten because they all do it so consistently. There is no way that all of those people truly believe that to the letter. There's just no fucking way. There's something hanging over those people's heads. There must be. Or there wouldn't be the strong consensus that there is. If you're in front of the camera, you essentially have a knife to your back, right? Waiting for you to step out of line, and they will cut you off. The Austin Powers movies offers a satire on this. I've seen those. It's been a while, but I've actually seen those. Where's that, then? I don't totally get American politics, to be honest, not living there, just what I see on the interwebs, and that is highly curated, as we all know, right? Well, I do live here. I've lived here my whole life. So ask away, I guess, if you got any questions. I don't. But yeah, I don't expect any media personalities to come out on, you know, anti-trans. I don't expect that. You'd have to do it on live camera in order to get through. And every once in a while somebody will think to ask themselves, "Gee, where are the feminists in all of this?" And it's like, gosh, wouldn't it be fun if someone actually went and tried to find that out? Where the fuck are all the journalists? That's what I want to know. I'm afraid US politics has become an absolute clusterfuck today, and the 2024 race will be an even bigger one. It's not a race. I don't, like I say, I cannot vote for Donald Trump. In my mind, it's already settled. I can't do that. Whether he's actually going to manage to herd those cats well enough to get them to the polls to give him, like, there are whole states trying to take him off the ballot. Okay. So, right, they've been crushed, canceled, squashed out of. No, we're still here. We still exist. No one is giving us a platform. Good two dementia candidates, right? I'm voting third party for the first time. Oh, who are you voting? Who? What party? What? I haven't actually managed to, I haven't heard about any third party candidates yet. Except maybe RFK Jr., which. Like, who is that guy? He's literally running on name recognition, right? It's not even his name. What the fuck? I like the sound about RFK Jr. Okay. I don't know what he's been saying. Admittedly, I have not looked into that. But who is he? Like, where did he come from? Like, I've never heard of him. Yes, Biden has reached stage 5, and Trump has been showing signs of dementia for fucking years. Years. I wrote a blog post about that years ago when he was still president. RFK. My state is guaranteed Trump, though. It's more a protest vote. I like his environmental platform. He was a famous environmentalist. Oh, okay. U.S. politics is just a team sport now. Everyone runs defense for the people who they elect and who show to be beholden to the voters, not the other way around. RFK Jr. is even more anti-vax than Trump. Oh, dear. He's an old classical liberal hippie. I've never met a classical liberal hippie. Every hippie I've ever met was a socialist. So, I don't. In that paradigm, classical liberal is a conservative. That's not true on the anti-vax thing. It's far more nuanced than that. Okay. Biden has been showing signs of cognitive decline for over a decade now. Right. No, and Donald Trump, what was it? Oranges. He was looking for the word origins and could not find it and just kept saying oranges like 2 or 3 separate times. He kept trying to correct himself and the word kept coming out wrong. Like, he could hear himself fucking up. There was nothing he could do about it. And that clip really struck me. I'm like, whoa, there's a word for that. That's called aphasia. And that's a sign of a lot of stuff. None of it's good. And this was 6-7 years ago when the man was still president the first, I almost said the first time. God. Oh. I am not trying to predict nothing. I feel like that describes me. Wait, what did you say? Classical liberal hippie, right? Yeah, they're both far gone. Yeah. I I'm still like, what is a classical liberal hippie, you guys? Like, that's not, no. In that paradigm, in like the 1960s, like hippie kind of a political paradigm, you have your Marxist socialists or the hippies, the liberals, and then your classical liberals are the conservatives. The market driven people, those are the conservatives, okay? Dennis Hopper, no, that's not. Is there really any real political ideology to that movie? Like, they're not liberal, or I mean, they're liberal in a small L way, maybe in a do what you feel kind of a way. RFK could never be president because who the fuck would listen to that worn out croaky voice for more than 5 minutes? No shade, as it is a medical issue, but the criticism still stands. They aren't socialists. If Trump and Biden debate, Biden is going down so bad. Oh, excuse me, I hadn't thought of that. It's going to be a battle over whose doctor can get the stronger speed, right? Like, what the that would be my request. Can we just please maybe have someone under 70? You know? Dennis Hopper was one hell of a villain in Speed. Is Dennis Hopper really the villain in Speed? Did I really just do that? I didn't know that. I've never seen that one either. It's messed up to be so superficial on that issue, though. He speaks better than Trump or Biden. Right. Well, Kelly, Big Plans is also English, so he doesn't get a vote in the American election. Just FYI. For him, it's all theoretical. Like, I believe in a lot of government regulation on the economy. Right. Yeah. Like, that's what I'm saying. The economy is an infrastructure, right? That's what the government is supposed to do, is maintain infrastructure for for the people, like that, for the populace. If they have a job, that's one of it. That's part of it, right? Ooh. I met loads of 60s hippies who are classical liberals now, right? Perhaps they are an anomaly or used to be socialists. I would guess that they used to be socialists. It was a scandal that Obama was as young as he was, if I recall. No. He's old enough. He's as old as my mother. No. He looked younger than he was. There was no. Oh, sorry, Dendrith. I don't mean to smack you down so hard. That's the first thing you've said. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be so mean, but like, no, I don't. Barack Obama was born the year after my mother. He's not so young. He was in college before I was born. So, no. Biden couldn't find the podium to debate in the first place. That guy's all the way gone. I don't know. He's got a lot of helpers. I'm sure they could find him the podium. Yes, we've been obsessed with putting very old white men in the Oval Office. They're way older than the other world leaders. Yeah, they really are. I mean, it doesn't matter because people will vote two-party. They always have. My vote would be for Cornel West if I could. Interesting. Wasn't he the second youngest? If Barack Obama was our second youngest president, that's very sad. He was in his 50s. It's funny, actually, within the trans communities. My trans medicalist views are the old-fashioned conservative ones, right? That's weird, right? Guess I'm one of those boomer hippies in terms of trans time. Yeah. Hey. Biden mills about aimlessly, not knowing where he is, who he is, where he's going, or where he's been. Biden has not been running this country. His cabinet has. Obama is 61 to 62 now. Right. So when he was elected in 2008, he might have been 48. But he is like a year younger than my mother. I remember my very conservative dad saying Obama was too young for the job. He had kind of a boyish face. Black don't crack, but no, he was a grown man. Like, also, you're fine. I was in quite the bubble when I was coming into politics. Very newly minted progressive. Right on. Oh my God, Sam, I love Cornel West. Oh, the Brits love Cornel West. I wonder if he knows that. Like, have you ever seen those pics of Obama at the start of his presidency and after? The office aged him like crazy. Yes, it did. He went great, didn't he? Ooh, real bad. Yeah. You guys are lucky in your politics, even with the old men. I could tell you some nightmare fuel about island politics. Uh, yeah, I think West is the Green Party candidate. Really? Okay. I'm gonna look up how old Barack Obama is. 62. He's 62 now. He was born in 61, which is a year after my mother. So, who's good at math? His birthday's in August, so he would have had his birthday in 2008 before the election. How old was he when he was elected? 61 to 2001 is 47. He was 47, which is 12 years older than you need to be to run for the office. So he was a grown-ass man at the time when he was elected. He was a grown man. Anyone else think that if Biden wins the election, he's going to resign early on, or is he going to keep going even when Trump is no longer a threat for some reason? Melanin is one of the most powerful antioxidants known to science. It's the scientific basis for the phrase black don't crack. Right on. It's true. I don't know. I accept that. Estonia's PM is in her late 30s. Right on. Yeah. So yeah, no, for Barack Obama was 47 when he was elected. That is not too young for the office. I would love that again. That would be nice, I really could not believe. I really just what Biden wanted to be president forever. He probably won't give it up if he hasn't. I know Trump wanted to be president forever. Did Biden say that too? Jacinda Ardern was about 42 and she left office in New Zealand. Okay. I'd love some younger energy in politics. I want to like AOC, but for obvious reasons, I find that hard sometimes. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, but he's already been president for 4 years. Why? Especially when he seems like he can barely process anything. Wouldn't you want to relax a bit in your final years? You'd think. He ran back in the 80s, then again twice. Yeah. Oh, he has wanted to be president forever. I gotcha. Donald Trump wanted to stay president forever, is what I meant. Biden would force them to use the 25th Amendment. He will die before resigning. Nice. I just cannot believe. I honestly, I'm still. The winds just keep blowing out there. I can't. Okay, like you want to going back to Barack Obama for a second. I hadn't thought about this for a while, but like, it was a shock to me that Biden was their pick for president, like at all, ever. I just couldn't fathom that. He was there to make Barry look trustworthy, right? Like a lot of people didn't like this young faced black dude, so they were going to give him an old white man as a sidekick to help make him more trustworthy, right? Okay, fine. That makes some sense. But so then why does the sidekick get to be the next kid? What? What is that? Why is he their next candidate 4 years later? Favors? Yeah, I mean, it's got to be something like that because it doesn't make any damn sense. It's a step backwards, or at the very least, a step sideways. It's not a step forwards. It's not at all the same. They were like, look at us. We're the party of the future. We are, young and hip and liberal and looking forwards and moving forwards. And they're still playing that line, heading it up with an 80-year-old. I just don't. What? As if they have no options. I just don't. I can't. I don't understand. They do not want to retire. Because they're afraid of millennial mindsets? That's too damn bad, isn't it? Who the hell gave us that mindset? Sometimes it feels that way. Not that I blame them for that. Blame them on that for some of the crap we've come up with. Like, right, but fair is fair. Time is time. Y'all's time is up. It's time to retire. It's time to move over. I'm going to be in my 50s before I don't live in boomer world every day. Biden was easier for them to control and manage. Yeah, but who's them? He was supposed to be a solid candidate against Trump, I guess. Patriarchy. Wait. Patriarchy. What? Like, what was that in reference to? The Illuminati. Oh, who are they? The Illuminati. Oh, I'm joking. Right, yeah, the white male patriarchy. Obama kind of broke me. I naively believed him about shutting Guantanamo Bay and ending the Afghan war, right? Same. Nope. Same as codifying Roe v. Wade. Yup. And look where we are with that now. Yeah. Plus, Obama did the Title IX bullshit. Right, which I wasn't even following closely enough at the time to have heard about. That would have been a big clue for yours truly that, they're not our friends. I had to move to Tennessee and join the local Democrat committee and witness firsthand just how much the National Democrat Party does not give a shit about Democrats in Tennessee. They do not care. They do not really support us. They send us the paperwork and are like, have fun with that. Okay, like they don't. It did not feel as if I was a part of the national organization at those committee meetings. It was really sad. And we never win anything. They never give us funding for, like, oh, I don't know, advertising or something like that would actually be helpful. No, nothing like that. Biden spent his entire career serving the big corporate powers, the rich oligarch, and the U.S. empire mega war machine. They want someone who's easy to manage. So now we have a they. Okay. We don't even have abortion rights or gay rights or even women's rights here. But guess what? Trans is trying to establish itself. I wish presidential candidates had to visit all 50 states. That should be a rule. I agree with that. That should be a rule. Didn't he take away habeas corpus? Which is pretty draconian. You can't do that. You can suspend it, but you can't actually take it away. It's because Muhammad signed the Yogi Carta principles. Indiana has been trying to pass a law that would require women to have funerals for their aborted fetuses. Yeah. Even after they've almost completely banned abortion. Luckily, it keeps getting rejected. Yeah. Indiana lives on like the razor's edge of flirting with fundamentalism, don't they? Ooh. Curious, is the trans lobby making any gains there? They established gender identity over sex-based rights. Oh my god. Also glad I finally made it to a live stream. Me too. Hey, how you doing? That's a little much. Jeez, Indiana. Yeah, right? I'm not from there or have family there or anything, so I wouldn't. No. No, that's a lie. I totally do. I was born there and have family there still to this day. Y'all want to talk about some crazy? Susie lives in the Bahamas. The funeral just seems like an unnecessary bit of cruelty. Yeah. Yeah. And like I say, what if you wanted that baby? What if you had a miscarriage like that you didn't want? I used to have family in Indiana, not anymore. Yeah. They use pronouns in the newspaper, and schools are asking about teaching it, but the population is not having it. Well, that's good. Because that kind of sounds like here in Tennessee, where, like, obviously they're not pushing it from above here, but it is making inroads socially. And, like, my 16-year-old has, some alternative friends in his friend group, and I see him clench up every time I bring up the subject. And I had to I felt the need to clarify to him the other night, like, I don't hate trans people. Um, because I don't think they exist. No one's born in the wrong body, and it's I don't know, it's actually kind of insulting that someone who lives with me would, think that even for a moment, I don't know. I don't know about the kids sometimes. Honey, if you're listening, we need to like look into his media appetite. He signed an indefinite detention bill, which would have applied strips, which would have stripped suspects of habeas corpus. Wow. You're obviously not immune to the TikTok influence on kids, right? It's like the new emo punk movement, though. Nowadays, it's not even a serious thing. It's affecting everything. Yeah. Well, the thing about punk and emo and all that shit is, like, you might get a tattoo that you regret later, or a piercing, but that's it, And also the religious, spiritual element of it, okay? Being an emo does not require signing away your soul, essentially. Does not require, like, I mean, it's almost like, in Scientology where they make you divest all of your deepest, darkest secrets. It's like that. Right, it's a dangerous trend that's very religious. Right, it's got a very spiritual element to it. And, like, maybe, philological, can you remind us what you had said earlier, the actual comparison points, between this and, like, religion? Because it really is. It's a very spiritual thing. Right, emo doesn't require a pound of flesh. Exactly. You're not goth anymore if you have to dress normally for a few days, right? Like, I don't know, maybe you went on a business trip or something. I don't know. And it can be something that lives in your heart, like I've talked to older goth people who like have chilled it down, but like they're still like, no, the goth lives in my heart. And I wear, I express it when I can, but it lives in my heart. And I feel like that's a really mature way of feeling about it, because you are who you are inside. And you don't have to constantly be shouting it from the rooftops in order for it to be true, right? And obviously, trans is not that way for most people. The male cat patriarchy keeps revamping, keeps adapting, keeps mutating, keeps reinventing itself, pivoting to new frontiers, keeps adapting to new technology. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that brings me back to this week's video, incidentally, where we're talking about how does patriarchy survive, and I discuss a little bit on both male and female motivations for keeping these thought processes alive. They are serving functions for us. They do, both male and female. Okay, it's reproductive strategy. It's old school reproductive strategy, is what it is. And that's why next week we're going to be digging into the political divide that's brewing in the younger voting bloc at the moment. It's like the shapeshifters on DS9. Yeah. Thank you. Right. The creed. Right. Exactly. There you go. Thank you. Transhumanism is the goal. It's big, big money. Right. Yeah. The next decade's going to be super fun, isn't it? Anyway, yeah, but still the political divide in the younger generation. Okay. You want to talk about, transhumanism. Okay. And I can't believe that I have to say this, but like literally the breakup of the family unit. Okay. Like literally, not just the breakup of it, but like the prevention of the creation of it in the first fucking place. You don't have to break up families if they never form in the first place, do you? I don't think transhumanism is going to come from the transgender community. It'll be from the military. There's bleed over there. We were discussing that earlier. We touched on that earlier. There's a lot of people out there. There's a surprising number of people who belong to both, You think transhumanism is bad now? We haven't seen anything yet with all the new emerging techs. What I'm saying, the next decade is going to be real fun. Isn't it? The next decade is just going to be so much fun on the frontier of human machine interaction. That's just going to be such fun. I'm way too old to be excited about any of that, I think. It will come from the U.S. military industrial complex. Doesn't everything? Martina Rothblatt, who is a trans-identified male, has written a book called Transgender to Transhumanism. He is heavily invested in all this transhuman tech, a billionaire. I mean, some could be good life making. So, right, no, I'm not like, unlike AI in that way, has an amazing potential application in like perhaps surgery, right? Like if you have the screen on your head that you can like project the anatomy and where things are supposed to be, that could be amazing. You could literally have the surgery, have the thing help you count the implements when you put them away, and make sure nothing gets left. And like, there are definitely amazing applications for this stuff. And, life-saving potential for people who need organs or valves or what have you. So why in the world it would be used on healthy people when we have all these piles and piles of applications for medicine? I don't know. That's actually a question one might raise. Yeah, I'm sure there's some transgender folks invested in transhumanism. I just think the driving force behind it is going to be the U.S. Armed Forces. And I'm trying to say that I don't think those two things are necessarily different. Okay? There are some, at least a couple specific power players who are both trans and military. Okay? So billionaires have always been obsessed with remaking the world in their images. They haven't always been billionaires, but yes, those people have always existed. Elon has already successfully done the Neuralink brain chip, right? No, he has not. No, he has not. That is such good. No, because in order to do that, first they have to like understand how memories work. Or like how the brain, like where your consciousness even sits, and like they don't even know what consciousness is. Like that's science fiction. Okay, I hate to say this, but that's still science fiction. What Elon Musk has talked about with his Neuralink chip is still science fiction because they don't even know what they're trying to hook. They're literally just sticking electrodes into people's brains and seeing what the fuck happens. Just like they've always done. Okay? No. I don't really understand what ethics are held by the medical field either nowadays. Ethics? What is that? This is so much fun, you guys. I have completely lost track of time. We're 15 minutes out from being done. Oh my gosh. It's after 2 o'clock, and I am going to have to go at 2:30. I got to pick my little boy up at 3. But I wanted to give you guys the full 2 hours. I want to do what we always do. Thank you so much for sitting through the ads and making this a really, really cool live stream. This has been really, really meaty topics. Like, oh. There was something I wanted to write down. This sounded like a good video topic. Man, am I going to have to go back through and watch this to get it, to figure out what it was? Elon has never and will never do anything. He points to a thing and throws money. Others do the thing. I'm always perplexed by any fan of his. He is a Steve Jobs. MK11? Yeah, he's such a braggart. Oh, yeah. Well, and yeah. Steve Jobs definitely did that too. And I mean, there's something to be said for being a face. Okay, there's something to be said for being a personality who can actually be the face of stuff, right? And I think that's a big part of the reason why Apple was successful the way that they were, was because he, his sort of little cult of personality thing. That's what got them off the ground in the first place with the geeks. Maybe it was the comparison between transgender and religion. Yeah, maybe. That might have been it. I need to get my notebook. And then as soon as I stand up, I'm going to have to go to the bathroom. Oh, TMI. Sorry. Yes, a lot of military men mistakenly think that women live much more peaceful, much better lives than men. This is why many want to transition into women. Well, I think that I've heard this from their own mouths. That's why a lot of military guys sign up to that in the first place, is to help ensure that idea that, their women folk can have peaceful, happy lives, right? It's also autogynephilia. Yeah, right. Yeah, also that, which, I don't understand. How is that not obviously, how do you not check yourself when you start? I don't know. Me and Philological is seriously bonding today. We have more in common than identical twins. Think the military trans thing is escaping from trauma too. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting connection if true. Right, yeah. It's why a lot of autogynephiles are military men. I've been pretty stressed, not gonna lie. It's the final 2 months of writing my PhD thesis. So a lot of work. Yeah, that's right. You said it's due in April, right? But I should finish all the writing by the end of next week, so then it's just editing. Oh, good. That'll be a lot easier, right? How's things with you, big plans? Yeah, but so how is that just not and I came through the gender woods on my own years ago. So maybe that's just why it causes me to ask this question of, how do you not check yourself? I don't understand how much you must. They think that women's lives are so much easier than men's. Never mind how dead wrong they are, but this is why they want to become women. Right. No, I know. Like life on easy mode, right? It's like, oh, okay. I don't know who told you that, but they were mistaken. Sounds hard, but very cool of you. Good luck. Yeah, good luck. Finishing up this week. You'll have to let us know how that goes on Wednesday and if you're done yet. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I can't believe that and I find myself thinking things that I have labeled conservative thoughts, about cultural forces apparently being maneuvered to not only disrupt and destabilize families, but now we're come to the point where it's come to the point where a lot of times the families are simply not forming in the first place. And I can't say to myself, oh no, I shouldn't think about that. That's conservative shit. No, that's some thought limiting right there. That's conditioning. because and I feel exhausted just thinking about how hard that PhD thesis must be to write. Yeah, right? I'm writing a novel. Those are hard too. So I have some sympathy on the bright side. My only deadlines are my own. And, I'm my own boss there. And I'm not going to be graded on it, except maybe by you guys when you finally get to read it and you tell me what you think. These weekly streams are usually my break in the day from all the studying and writing. Can't wait to come in here one week and let y'all know my thesis is finally written. Yeah! Looking forward to hearing it. They did this to Black American families and communities long ago. That's a really good point. Canary in the coal mine. Right. The papers from the 60s about pop. Right. If you look at stuff from 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago and then apply it to the current situation, you're like, wait a minute. It really looks like they're still doing all that stuff on a bigger scale. Like, yeah, no, it's horrifying. Black American families were the canaries in the coal mine, but us white folk didn't care to pay attention or listen until it started affecting them. Hey, I'm only 40. I couldn't do anything about what was happening in the 1960s. I wasn't there. That's not fair. Okay. I just, that makes perfect sense. I believe that. I'm not even going to, like, yeah. Of course they would have. I feel stupid not having thought of it. Call that my white nonsense, if you will. That I never thought of that. Like, obviously. Oh my God. White people back in the 1960s didn't care either. Right. But I wasn't one of them. I don't know. It's pretty messed up that a lot of the info comes from Nazi knowledge too. Oh, you mean the population control stuff? Oh, they stole that from us in the first place. Yeah. No, that's American grown, baby. Oh, yeah. All that race baiting stuff, all that population control stuff. Oh, yeah. They stole that from us in the first fucking place. I can't remember the name of the guy. God damn it. Reconstruction era. Okay. Post-Civil War. Yeah. So, like, we didn't even have to steal it from the Nazis. We were the ones who inspired them. The Nazis were inspired by Jim Crow. Yeah, that's exactly what, yeah. Yeah. So, like, no, they copied us in the first place. We don't even have to steal it from the Nazis. They took it from us. Okay. It's terrifying. It's frightening stuff, So the fact that the United States ended up on the opposite side of the war with them must have been an economic, an economic thing, because it certainly wasn't a cultural thing. It just seems like pogroms against Jews are centuries. Oh, well, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, Pearl Harbor and the British connection. Right, yeah. The only thing we stole from the Nazis were rocket scientists. Can you steal from the dead? Yeah. Yes, that's exactly right. The Nazis learned this from us, how we forced the Native Americans. Right. Yeah. A huge amount of American elite and politicians were sympathetic to the Nazi cause. Yes, they were. Right. So, no, it's not even Nazi stuff. The Nazis were copying us, which is horrifying. So, yeah. And then they would just expand it to everyone else then. Stealing from the dead is called archaeology. What about if the corpse is still warm? Like, the Third Reich had just ended when Werner von Braun came over here. Like, I don't know. Or maybe not him specifically, but like, they were still, it was all very close together. I mean, I don't know. It may seem unimpressive to you, but well done for having 10 plus people consistently here and engaging and watching. You're making real gains and are only growing bigger. Right? Yeah, I did notice. Thank you guys so much for joining me. And seriously, thank you for sitting through the ad rolls, which I know you've been seeing. We did manage to monetize the channel this last week or something. Indiana Jones is an expert at stealing from the dead. I mean, I get your point. I've enjoyed myself. Thank you. Yeah, I really thank you guys for hanging out. This has been so cool. This week's video is a little shorter. Maybe share it around. Get some more people to come and join us because, we're going to agree to disagree, right? And work together to try and bring feminism back into the real world. I'm not even playing with that. That is for real. If the corpse is still warm, it's very quick archaeology. I don't know. I think that might just be theft. I'm on premium, baby. No ads for me. Oh, cool. Ah, almost time for lunch. Yeah. You guys all have a good week too. And enjoy the British Museum for me, Philological. I'm super jealous. That sounds so much fun. And yeah, check the space next week. We're going to be talking about the political divide among the youngest voting bloc, like apparently all over the world, which is fun. Because, like I say, they don't need to break up families if they never form in the first place, do they? You're poor. You have ads. I'm sorry. I had to go premium a couple of years ago because I was trying to do this, and like I was doing live reactions at the time, and like having ads in your own video from someone else's video. It just seemed tacky. Thank you so much for sitting through the ad, Scott. I'm sorry. We'll just go ahead and go. It's 2:30. Enjoy your lunch. And seriously though, thank you for sticking with me through the ads, and thank you for sitting with them. Just think of it as a little donation, because it's all going to go right back into the channel. You guys have a good week, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.